know how to divide a decimal with a whole number. And when you do that, most of the time you get a decimal quotient or answer. It is also possible to divide a whole number with another whole number and get a decimal quotient. All the problems that you have done where you got a remainder can be done so that you get a decimal quotient and no remainder. Your answer can be stated as a decimal. In real life, you do more divisions of whole numbers where the quotient is a decimal number. Let's take a look at some examples. So we're going to start with John running. So John runs at the speed of 4 kilometers per hour. How long will he take to run 6 kilometers is the information that we need to solve for. So in this problem, it becomes a division problem of 6 divided by 4. And so I go ahead and start my long division of 6 divided by 4, and I ask myself, what number can I multiply 4 by? What's the largest whole number that I can multiply 4 by to get a product less than or equal to 6? And the answer is 1. So I place my 1 up here, and I do the calculation of 1 times 4, which is 4. Place my 4 here and subtract it from the 6. 6 minus 4 equals 2. And so normally I would go this far and I would say 6 divided by 4 equals 1 remainder 2. What does the 2 mean in the remainder? Does it mean that John would not run the last 2 kilometers? Does it mean that we can never find the exact time he would take to run 6 kilometers? Well, the 2 remaining kilometers is less than what John runs in 1 hour. He runs 4 kilometers in 1 hour. That means he would take less than 1 hour to run these last 2 kilometers. To calculate, we need to use decimals. You can see that there are times that we need to calculate our quotient in decimals. We can use long division to find the correct answer. Let's take a closer look at this example we've begun with. So in our example, so far, we've done 6 divided by 4 with a 1 in our quotient and a remainder of 2. Let's backtrack just a tiny bit, and I'm going to remove this R2 from our answer, and we're going to just go back a step to where we were when we did this calculation. 1 times 4 equals 4, and then 6 minus 4 equals 2, and stop here for a minute. Here's where we're going to take a little closer look, and here is where we have a new method that we're going to learn for reporting these answers with a decimal in the quotient. So what I want to do at this point, because I'm kind of stuck, I don't really have any more numbers to pull down. It doesn't appear that I have any more calculations possible. But what I do at this point is I change the whole number 6 to a decimal number of 6.0. Because we know that any whole number, even say like the number 5, 5 is the same as if I put a decimal after it and put 5.0 or even 5.00 or however many zeros I wanted to add to the end, it still would have a value of 5. And so I can add a 0 here after the decimal point without changing the value of my dividend. So this is the new piece. Now, along with that new method of changing your whole number dividend to a decimal, you also have to remember to put a decimal right above it in your quotient. So I'm going to extend this line here a little bit just to make sure that I'm keeping my numbers organized. And right above where I made this a whole number into a decimal, I'm going to go right above there and make sure that I don't forget to put a decimal up in my quotient. And now I simply continue the process of long division as I would if I were just working with whole numbers. And so I now have a 0 that I can pull down to join the remainder for my previous calculation. So I simply bring this 0 down here. It joins in with the 2 that was the remainder from my 6 minus 4. And I now have a 20 to work with. And so I can simply do the division of 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And that 5 I place right up here in the quotient. And I know that 5 times 4 equals 20. I go ahead and perform that calculation. Subtracting 20 minus 20 equals 0. And so now I'm at a remainder of 0, and I know that my solution is finished and I can stop. And so the answer to our problem is that John runs at the speed of 4 kilometers per hour. How long will he take to run 6 kilometers? And we know now that John will take 1.5 or 1.5 hours to run 6 kilometers.